Hello, Internet. My name is Daniel, Jaw for short. I'm your host today on the liminal space. Today, I want to bring awareness to certain ways infiltration happens in America through the mind. This is expounded on from my last episode of Subversion and Sleeper Agents. The way these manifest in ideologies are usually rooted in some type of belief that they should happen, and that the overruling is gonna help it's altruism, it's the greater good, it's the lesser evil. Think of communism, communism is the opposite of capitalism. Think of socialism, the opposite of capitalism. All these things that are Western, the alternative we have seen is usually not the best case scenario. It's a utopia that has never truly been lived out, they say, but is always disastrous. Today, I'm bringing up a big point of the things we see in Europe and in America, but is not brought forth to the light because of Islamophobia or buzzwords, which I truly believe is just censorship. This is the First Amendment that has been fought in the backbone of America since its inception, the Constitution, freedom of religion. We should be able to express these points without the fear of retaliation. If it truly is with good intentions to try to bring awareness and have a country prosper better for everyone, then you shouldn't be jailed for memes on the internet like in the UK. You shouldn't be arrested. Journalism, you shouldn't have a fear to document what's happening in your country. And that's what we see now. Journalism is a pillar of the community. It's what's supposed to be trusted to know what's going on around the world. And that's a little bit of what this channel is. And enough with the preface. I want to bring up stealth jihad. Stealth jihad is one form of subversion. Think of, yes, this is Hydra from Marvel, but I also want to think symbolically. It's the head, someone's ideology, their mindset, belief system, their worldview, and then the tentacles are how it actually impacts the real world. And I don't think that's a crude example. I think that's a good way to put it, that the tentacles may act independently, but in reality, they have the same desired outcome. This is stealth jihad. Jihad is an Islamic term for holy war. Yes, there's one way to interpret it and live it with is the war between the flesh and the spirit, but I am portraying stealth jihad in its purest form. And I am not the only one that says this, that Islamic states, the organizations and the Muslim Brotherhood founded in 1963 in Egypt, I'm pretty sure, I know it's in Egypt, they function like this. It's a form of which my facts and information is coming from a U.S. Navy and way to explain it, which is the end of the episode where how it affects America. But I'm also getting it from a book called Stealth Jihad. Stealth Jihad is boots on the ground and actual action, but without guns and without the nukes that they desire, like Iran. It's ideologies, it's subversion, and it's a facade. The facade is that they are purely traditional, religious, or they're just here to rule and guard over the Muslims in Western nations, which is fine, sure, whatever. But the thing is, once you, like one of the tentacles here in America, like we Christians have YMCA. There's a version of that, MACA for Muslims. There's a bunch of organizations, but all of these organizations have the premise of jihad, stealth jihad. And in Europe, we see it's action through the law. They use this so it's control. It's you're within the system, and now you can bend the system to your will. And the will of jihad is to have the whole world under Islamic rule, and that rule is institutionalized by Sharia law. Everything is through Sharia law, media, stores, the way you dress, all that, censorship, honor killing, and I can go in depth in this, but I just want to bring this up that jihad isn't just the Crusades or terrorism. That is the end result, but we see its fruits in the beginning. And the jihad is ordained by Allah. It is their rightful duty as a Muslim to do it. And this brings me to my another point. And it's a pillar of my worldview that I believe makes sense and kind of is a good way to rationalize the politics we see in the world. And it is the simple premise that politics proceed from theology. This meaning that politics is the way at which people of the country, of the system, try to sustain the society they live in. When there's a problem, we come up with a solution, and there's different ways to represent it. Oligarchies is the rich, aristocrats are the aristocrats, which is just the noble class. Democracy is supposedly for the people. Republic is representatives for each city-state. All this. But politics proceeds from theology, means how we should come up with the solutions, and how the solutions truly impact the nation comes from the theology. So think controversial, for whatever reason, controversial topics like abortion, like deportation, like war, treason, things like this is how you should treat them comes from your worldview of what's right and wrong, who has given me the authority to do this, and how much I should overstep with another person. Like honor killings. Honor is a true and well-respected virtue that everyone should have and try to keep. But to kill for honor is not how a society continues to be together when there's diversity. You can't do that. It's a lack of trust, and that isn't a culture, and not all cultures are made equally. There are certain things that should not be continued to propagate and be instilled in children, like automatically hating someone without knowing who they are because of what they believe. And we see the fruits of that in Israel versus Gaza. There truly is a genocide going on, but there truly is justice being served. And the way that happens is from theology. The Jewish people have always been persecuted and exiled, and now, which is prophecy, they've finally been able to get their own homeland, and now they're under attack by its neighboring nations over and over and over again. Grace. Grace is a worldview, a theology of that God has given us grace and freedom from condemnation, because the flesh is already condemned, but through spirit we are saved. We are able to then give that to others, but that is a hard thing to do when you feel like you must be obedient and be fearful. You start to fight each other. and then you blame each other, you point fingers, and that's apostasy. And that is another form of jihad, is fighting not only just the disbeliever, but it's the misbeliever, the person who doesn't believe in God in the way that you do, which is a theological thing. Like, Jesus Christ is exclusionary. He said, I am the truth, the way, and the life. No one goes to the Father except through me. The straight and narrow door. So that is true. But jihad makes it so they fight against each other when there should be unity. And this comes to the point of when one group of way of living and of thought infiltrates another. But because of propaganda and because of lack of knowledge, we don't understand how people in this area operate. So once they come over here, I'll post a clip of this, of a Muslim refugee, how leftists, when they unite with Islamists, that is when a country turns its tables.
Refugee from Iran. I've been to prison, I've been under Islamic law, and I know how it starts and I know how it ends. And it always starts with for some reason, unity of left and Islamists, and it scares me. So I came here to be free. I chose Canada as my second home to live in a free country. And I'm beginning to get really scared, because the way things are going, it looks like they're going to basically appease Islamists just to not raise any ruckus or something. They're just going to appease them step by step, and they're not going to stop. They see it as a sign of weakness, so they're going to take more and more, and I'm against that. I believe Canada should be free, and freedom of speech is something that nobody can take.
Think of Iran's Islamic Revolution in 1979, I believe. They overthrew it. And think of Syria now with that more secular president. He became Islamic, or the nation became Islamic. And now they're enacting persecution, and that leader is able to shake the hands of the French president. And that is subversion. Because the people within the country that have the call are just waiting for that call, for the whistle to blow. They are seeing their leaders be put on a pedestal and not scrutinized and held accountable for their actions. So now more things happen, and then it leads to social friction. Social friction is what I believe the main point of subversion and sleeper agents is. If you want me to ask and get into the mind of these anarchists and these people that want to destroy the system and then build it up in their eyes, it would be for social friction. We are divided amongst each other when America is supposed to be one nation under God, indivisible. Each state has to be together. But the way America is right now, it is so politically charged and polarized that your ideas get you condemned who you are gets condemned before you even open your mouth. And that's not how a democracy works. It's the same reason Socrates was persecuted. He wanted people to think for themselves and to not be blatantly submissive to the authority and just truly think for yourself. And he was condemned by the ruling class. And that cannot be the outcome of America. Yes, criticism for the president is always, for the most part, it's always okay, freedom of speech, but you can't just hate on him for every single thing he does. When he does something good, it should be applauded and still skeptic, and when he does something bad, it should be You should be held accountable, but still be skeptic. Be skeptic of all. And I feel like that is manufactured. That skepticism and that distrust amongst each other is what subversion is. When it's a miracle that a mosque and a church can be together, that is subversion, as pitting people against each other. And the people on the top, literally it's cringe to say, but the puppet masters have the puppet, and that is the sleeper agent. Their ideology is so ingrained in their mind that it's like a parasite, and they affect all their actions. But the sleeper aspect is that it takes time. And that time is grace period, where people that see what's going on have to spread that awareness. And that's what I want to do for y'all. I want to, Hosea, right? People perish for lack of knowledge. We have to be knowledgeable. We have to be enlightened to other ideologies and not be so stuck in your box. There's different boxes everywhere, and people are trapped in those boxes. But you should be able to be out of it. You should be able to be outside of your comfort zone and be able to discuss these crazy, outlandish things that lead to doom, but not be despaired and apathetic of it all. And don't say nothing ever happens, because things always happen. People die every minute, but people are saved every minute as well. And I believe what saves you is trust in Christ, but also trust your gut. When you see something's off, when you see things like psyops, which I will get into, you have to be able to seclude yourself, because yes, these things are manufactured, but it's also to mess up with your emotional state and make you do something you shouldn't do. And ideologies prey on that, like cults. Cults is a whole crazy topic that I will get into, but cults preys on the weak and vulnerable, and that's what that is. Sleeper agents are the first to cause anarchy, and the social friction from religion and economics and politics makes it so civil war happens. And we have had a civil war already, so it's not crazy to say I'm not praying on the downfall of America. I love this country, and may God bless it. But the way this is going, when you see both sides are calling for some type of war or to be annexed away from the country and disappear or separate, you take notice of that, and you shouldn't want that. We have to be whole. Being whole is what propels us forward, because once we are divided, divisions keep happening. We keep fractaling. That's what the ideology of identity politics brings forth. The fractaling of people so much that one person is not equal to another person, but there's oppression, and just based off their skin color and the way they express themselves have power over the other one or an advantage over the other one, when this country is made to be free. And of course there's examples of it not being, but that shouldn't hold you back. Anything is possible. That's cliche, but it's true. I think that's a good place to leave the sleeper agents ideology mashup. That's the next point. Ooh.